What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Fix. Look what the cat dragged in. Why are you laughing at me?
Because of that high voice, it's nice. I like that. You should sing like that.
Adam Lambert, what's happening?
Not much. How are you?
Good, man. It's very rare on this show that somebody will upstage me in the shoe department.
Did I? I don't know. Those checkers are grabbing my attention.
I don't know, man.
But these snakeskins are kind of...
Those are some shit kickers right there.
Kind of amazing, I know.
Are they just ankle highs?
Yeah, this is a Burmese python. How about that?
Yeah, I should have just worn my black socks. I can't compete with those.
I think they're good checkers.
Well, I appreciate them.
I appreciate them.
See? This is like equal admiration. Listen, on your record, this is the first thing I want to ask you before we get into the show. We're going to have you here for an hour. We're going to throw to some videos. We're going to talk. But here's my first question before we get into it.
Yeah.
You've got the who's who of producers and songwriters in this album. Brian Tedder, Max Martin, Pink, Rivers from Weezer. When someone sits down with a guitar and writes 10 or 12 songs, that's their album. It's a cohesive piece of art. I have to imagine it has to be difficult to make a cohesive album when you have 15 or 10 different hands going in there. What were some of the challenges you faced to try to make this an album that made sense to you?
Well, I mean, my thing was I figured I'm at the center of it, so that's one thing that's cohesive,
right.
You know. I think on Idol, I liked to sing a lot of different styles, and I was always trying to keep people guessing, so I kind of wanted the album to be the same type of journey, where it was just something different every track. I don't really think it's necessary to have an album that's overly, like, cohesive and like really sound samey throughout the whole thing. I thought it might be interesting to kind of make it a little more eclectic.
So it was easy. The process, having so many different people helping you and co-write, was an easy process for you?
Yeah, and we made sure that we production-wise had a little bit of rock, a little bit of pop, a little bit of dance in every track, so that it would have like, it would all kind of live in the same state.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, you wrote a song with Justin Hawkins from...
I actually didn't write that at all. He wrote that himself.
Okay, so you didn't get to meet him at all?
No.
See,
I met him for like a second,
did?
but we didn't get to record together.
What kind of dude is he? Is he crazy?
He was cool. He was really nice.
Was he like, what's happening?
No, he was actually really mellow. He had glasses on. He's like, hello.
Really?
Hello.
I figured he'd be just out there.
Nice to meet you, mate. It's great. Yeah. Justin.
I miss that guy.
He's cool. He's really cool. He's working a lot right now. He's making a lot of music. So
cool.
Hopefully we'll hear more from him.
Okay, we're going to start with one of your videos. Which one do we start with, Claudette? What do you want from me?
I don't know. What do you want from me?
Hello.
Hey.
What do you want from me right now in the Daily Fix? Starting off like this, huh? Already. Bam! All right, more with Adam Lambert coming up after the break. This question first. When you went in for that first audition, when you did Bohemian Rhapsody, right? You knew you were going to get a yes, right?
I was hopeful. I was projecting it, but then they started doubting me. Remember when Simon was like,
yeah,
the stank eye, and Kara was like, ah. So I didn't know what was going to happen.
But when you walked in, you were like, because you knew you can sing, you knew you were going to get the ticket. Come on.
I hoped my voice wasn't going to crack, and I was like, oh, here we go.
All right.
But looking back on it, I sounded.
You did.
I sounded my best. I sounded my best.
All right, more from Adam Lambert coming up after the break. You knew it. You knew it. What's happening?
Kicking it with you.
Yeah?
Next to the speakers.
What do you think of this place right here? How does this compare to Oprah's set? Like, seriously?
It's a little more minimal. I like these, though. These are cool.
Charming, right?
Yeah, really charming.
Way more charming, though, than Oprah.
I feel like you could nail these together and turn them into some sort of coffee table situation.
Yeah, but see, then we have to move the couch off and put our desks here so we can do
well, I don't really do that work thing, desk things.
Yeah, well, you do work. It's just not at a desk.
No, yeah, you're right. I do work. And it is a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize how much work
it is
goes
a lot
into
of work.
it.
What time did you start this morning?
7 a.m. And it's almost 7 p.m.
Pumpkin. What a hard day. How was the first interview of the day?
It was great. The interviews have been great all day. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love what I do, and I think that it's like, it's worth it, you know?
Okay, no, I buy that.
Yeah, it's worth the rewards.
I heard a really great quote recently where one of my favorite songwriters said, when he writes his songs, the words come first and the meaning comes later. It was more about finding the feel, the vibe, and the meaning comes later because maybe he doesn't know what he's singing about at the moment. It's just coming to him. The muse is just throwing it out there. What do you think of that?
I've experienced that before.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, it kind of flows through you, and it's like you stream of consciousness. Sometimes you really have to think about it. Or sometimes like the first verse will come out of you, and then you have to really rack your brain to get the second one to the same level.
So when you sit and you were doing the writing and doing co-writes, did you have a certain theme in mind for a song? Would you hear the music and go, this gives me this kind of vibe?
Yeah. And
you did do that?
A great example is that I was doing Strut with Caro DioGuardi and Greg Wells. We sat down and we were like, okay, what do we want to do? All right, let's do like a glam rock shuffle thing, like Rock and Roll Part 2.
Right.
You know, that stadium song that everybody loves. So we started with a beat that sounded like that. And Caro was like, I can see like walking around and strutting around the stage to that. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. And she was like, why don't we just call it Strut? I was like, all right. So we started writing some basic lyrics to the chorus. And then I said, but I want it to be deeper than that. I don't want it to just be like, I'm walking. Look how cool I am. We wanted to like put like an empowerment message in there about being like, if you as a listener are inspired by this and you own like your stuff and you let it all hang out and you're comfortable in your own skin, you feel fantastic and you're proud of yourself, that's when you're going to find love. That's when you're not going to be solo.
Cool. Now you wrote with Lady Gaga too, right?
I didn't write with her. I recorded with her. She wrote
So
it.
you're in the room with her.
Yeah.
Then when it was all done, did she take fairy dust and sprinkle it and disappear into the night?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
See, I
It
knew
was
that.
amazing.
I knew that's what happens when you meet Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she's
like,
incredible.
boom, see you later, and she's gone.
Yeah, she's magical.
Amazing. I knew it. Okay. This is for your entertainment by Adam Lambert, right? Is that right, Claudette? This is your video right now.
Yeah.